with all that, Moni, who is next?
Up next is Keztraz.
No.
Sup, bro? How you doing?
No, I'm quite nervous. It's my first time.
Don't be nervous, bro. It's all good.
I would have two things. The first one would be the ordering and the creation that we talked about during this stream. Maybe if you look at what the Titan creations are, the Titan creations are basically just robots, and
Yeah.
the old gods are tumors.
Yeah.
If we think visually about them, what if by creating and ordering, they take away from life and make it sterile? So kind of like they cut away from a tumor and turn it over eons into, in their eyes, pure being, a robot, by taking away a life.
Okay.
And by giving those beings a fleshy body, Yoxeron align us more with the forces of life and those chaotic mutations, what life should be. So maybe the old gods are not connected to nothingness, the void itself, but an expression of life in its earliest stages.
Yeah.
So let's just say the first ones created something out of nothing. But at the start, the something was so chaotic that they have to refine it and go further away from those old gods, and had to contain it because it would just spread to everything around it.
So
that
Detecting some major heresy here.
yeah, I mean, hail the Emperor, right?
I mean, the beings of light, the exact definition of order, are basically just big, for us, unreadable letters.
Yeah.
What could be more ordered?
This is very close to a speculation that I have myself, where I actually believe that the old gods are part of Azeroth and not part of the Void, so to speak. But here's a very interesting thing. The Void is named by the Titans. If you read the Broker's book, they don't call it the Void, they call it Shadow. So different words for what they consider to be the same thing. But then, if you look at what the old gods do and what the old gods have a problem with, and this is sort of, there's also a speculation here that the primalists are working for the Void, by the way, because Deathwing was absolutely a servant of the Void, and Deathwing wanted to, the exact same words that Razageth said, we will destroy the influence of the Titans. Deathwing said those exact same words, and all of it is to do with order. Deathwing said this, the Primalist said this. What is it the Titans want? They want order at all costs. Life is disorder. It's chaos. That's true. Look at human beings. Just take a look around you and you will see the chaos. When you give people freedom, it inevitably leads to chaos. Chaos leads to suffering. It can lead to entropy. It can lead to a whole bunch of really bad things. But it can also lead to a lot of beauty. It's through freedom that a lot of other things happen that is really good. So kind of have to take the good with the bad. The Titans aren't built that way. When they were designed inside Zeroth Orders, they were designed with one goal and one goal only, and that is the goal of order. The old gods, on the other hand, wishes to destroy that order and give back to the, let's call it, the laws of entropy. Insofar as life needs to be left alone to find its own way, whatever that way may be. It goes even deeper than that when Deathwing claims that what has happened to Azeroth, as I said in the previous discussion, what has happened to Azeroth left Azeroth broken. So we have a thought there that the Titans also came in and ordered Azeroth herself. They say that in the Chronicles. They say that they came and they ordered Azeroth. And we have always assumed that meant the life on Azeroth, right? The beings and so on. But what if they actually physically ordered Azeroth, the Titan? Because we know that Azeroth is already influenced with chaos. There's already chaos within Azeroth. So is it possible that they were the ones who brought order to Azeroth in some way, shape, or form, breaking her apart? I don't know.
You mean So you mean something like Zagaris just wanted to break his sugar mama away from her shackles, something like that?
It could be Sugar Mama. It could be. It could be. It could be that he really wanted to kill her. You know, for a long time I believed that Sargeras didn't want to kill Azeroth, but maybe Sargeras did want to kill Azeroth. Now, the only reason I would say that there's a good chance that Sargeras really didn't want to kill Azeroth is because the jailer banked on the sword of Sargeras being stuck inside Azeroth. The jailer banked that that would happen. Now, if Sargeras had 2 extra seconds and he wanted to kill Azeroth, he would have killed Azeroth, which would then have been, like, a seriously bad move for the jailer. The fact that that didn't happen suggests that maybe the jailer knew that Sargeras never planned to kill Azeroth in the first place. So it
was kind of
Sorry,
weird
yeah?
to begin with that he just looms in his shadowy cloud form over her in striking range, so to speak, for such a long time without even striking. I mean,
Yeah.
I can see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was trying to break her free from the influence of the Titans. He was trying to free her. And look, immediately as I say this, I'm going to get people in the comment section going, "Oh my god, no, the Titans are our friends. Fuck you, bro." We do not have friends. I really want people to understand this. We
Well,
do not have friends. The Titans are not our friends. The Old Gods are not our friends. The Light is not your friend. What they are cosmic beings that couldn't give 2 fucks about you and me on this little planet. We are simply here because we serve a purpose. That is it. That is it. And if I'm not mistaken, Deathwing said that as well. In his conversation with Thrall, Deathwing made it very clear the Titans care nothing for you. You do not matter to them. They will swipe you aside if you stand in their way. So, yeah, there is, I think, a number of... the question becomes, who is the lesser of all evils? Is that the Old Gods, or is that the Titans? Or is it something else? Something we haven't seen yet?
but this a Deathwing tool point would actually lead into my main question.
Okay.
Would it be possible that Murazond was actually the first Deathwing, so to speak? So before Deathwing was corrupted in another original timeline, before we even start this WoW timeline, Nostormu was maybe corrupted the same way Deathwing was corrupted.
Yeah.
And because Nostormu has access to the entirety of the timelines and can see and walk through them, that this corrupted Nostormu, at that point he was already Murazond,
Yeah.
talked with his then allies, the Old Gods, what the best timeline, how to best act to achieve their end goal.
Yeah.
Because it's like a blueprint. You go this way, down there, you then corrupt the Deathwing, so to speak, which leads to one after another, and that would be somewhat like the old gods allow us to kill them because they know through Murazond that killing the old gods lays the way to their goal.
I mean, it is entirely possible. To your first part, I don't think Murazond and Deathwing are the same. Although I don't think that's what you
No,
said. I
not
think
the
you meant
same.
you
In
meant that
theme.
Murazond was supposed to do what Deathwing was supposed to do. They were basically
Yes.
servants of the old gods. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because there's gonna be people watching this going, what the fuck? No, and then they're gonna stop listening. So just to clarify, you're basically saying that Murazond was supposed to do what Deathwing ultimately led to.
Yes.
And
I mean, we learn through this story of Dragonflight
yeah.
that in theory the bronze Dragonflight and in turn the infinite Dragonflight could go back to the time of the Black Empire and
Yeah.
maybe even beyond that, but they can't because it's against company policy or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But in theory, they could go back and interact with the old gods in person, and even quench out the old god threats to begin with before it even happens.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It is interesting
um,
just to throw a wrench in here. It's against company policy to go back to the days of the Black Empire. Also, coincidentally, the Titans said to destroy all records of the Black Empire, because no one is allowed to know what transpired during the Black Empire days. And of course, we know that it was Aman'Thul that blessed Nostormu with access to the timelines. So, Aman'Thul is a bastard. So yeah, I can see that. It is interesting when you bring that up. Murazond may actually have gone back to the beginning, to how things were in the beginning. And this might be the thing that sort of drove Murazond to destroying all of the timelines and destroying all of the work of the Titans, if indeed that is his end goal. So I can see that, yeah.
Or he looked into all the possibilities, like like Malzael in Diablo 3. He got all the knowledge and went mad.
Yeah.
Maybe Nostormu saw everything that could happen, but also knew the timeline he had to uphold as instructed by Aman'Thul, and
Yeah.
then realized, what the fuck, we are played. This is
Yeah.
not right, and went mad with all of this.
Yeah,
I mean, you say he acts like a rabid dog, just being a physical threat, and that somewhat goes hand in hand with madness. You can't control your own
yeah, well, he
things
is.
because your head is in everything at the same
Yeah,
time.
he is said to be like all over the place, right? He it is Nostormu, but a very crazy version of Nostormu. Mainly because, and if you go back to the end time dungeon and you actually do that fight and you listen to his voice lines, it's very clear that his mind is sort of scattered all over the place, because he's seen everything, and sort of everything is happening at the same time. It is driving him nuts. So it is possible. Like, everything you just said, I absolutely could agree with. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the key difference between Murazond and Nozdormu, besides just, you know, the corruption of their purpose, is also a matter of perspective. Murazond immerses himself in all timelines and is effectively existing in all timelines at all times, and that's why his perspective is so off to us. Because Nozdormu is trying to be on the outside of those timelines, looking at them. So, in some ways, Murazond is inside the timelines, like submerged in a river, whereas Nozdormu is on the bank of the river, looking in, and that's where we sort of are as well, or at least it's the best way for him to interact with us.
Yeah.
But couldn't it also be that in the end time dungeon itself, was used. So he is spread all over the history of us playing the game, has spread himself into all those possible timelines, placed a piece of himself within those, and manifested within the end time dungeon, S- uh, um, pulling together each and every piece of himself in this dungeon and fusing, so to speak, the
Yeah.
timelines kind of together to create one main timeline.
Yeah.
Maybe to ensure that this timeline that he envisions happens.
Well,
so that
yeah.
I will
by
say
killing him, we actually ensured that this timeline would happen. So that maybe the end time dungeon itself acts as the base point of the WoW story we are in right now.
Yeah.
I will throw a bit of a monkey wrench into that theory for you.
Fucking
has
bastard,
been-
bro. Like, how dare you? Man's just
It has
having
been
fun with the theories, man. Yeah, what's
It's
the
been
monkey wrench?
confirmed that the end times is not the timeline of origin that Murazond the Murazond we attacked does not originate from that timeline. That Murazond simply used the end times as a base of operations for the infinite dragonflight because with the course of history as it was going until Nosdomu and us went and got the dragon soul, the end times dungeon was where everything was going until we altered the course of the timeline and wrapped it all up into that one singular timeline. So effectively,
So he does not originate from the timeline where the old gods are winning, so to speak.
exactly,
But
he
that
does
would
not.
mean that he might just be a variable. In,
Exactly.
let's say 50 timelines. Only in one he was created, in an offspring timeline that nobody cares. So maybe our Nostormu will never turn into Murazond. And will
Well,
only
that
turn
is-
into Murazond due to the fear of turning into him.
But wait. Okay, so this is the okay. It doesn't matter what timeline it happens in. If it happens, it happens. And Murazond is not confined to a singular timeline. And Nosdormu, regardless of the timeline, in every timeline, Nosdormu sees himself becoming Murazond. So
Correct.
it happens in every single one of the timelines. It can happen earlier, it can happen later. Now, what Nosdormu did is Nosdormu tied all of the timelines into the end time. So that when we killed Murazond, it effectively meant the death of Murazond. Now, the Infinite Dragonflight, they're still around because all of the bronze dragons that became infinite dragons, they still did that, right? They all still became infinite dragons. It's only now, like, they don't have a leader. Even though the Infinite Dragonflight still very much believe that they have a leader. They believe that this Nosdormu will eventually become Murazond, and then they will have Murazond back as their, god creator or the aspect of the infinite. So, just to bring it sort of back, because you could, there's, when it comes to timelines, it becomes really fucky. And this is why I tend to stay away from the timeline discussions as much as possible, because anything is possible with enough time and enough timelines, right? If we couldn't make it work in 20 timelines, maybe we can make it work in 50 timelines, or whatever. What if we went for 150 timelines? We could make it work then. I prefer to focus on the on what we know and what the characters that would know expect to happen. And from what we know, Nosdormu have never given up on the fear that he can still turn into Murazond. Even though technically he's already stopped that in this timeline by helping us kill Murazond. Because he helped us kill him.
So we could say Murazond is dead. That's a fact in all timelines. So in theory, he will not come back. But the Infinite Dragonflight sees Nostormu as their soon-to-be sugar daddy, so to speak.
Yeah, because remember, all it takes for Nosdormu to turn into Murazond is to refuse to die. That's literally
Nice.
the prophecy, right? That's the vision he saw. He just needs to refuse to die. Well, as soon as he does that, it's game over. Thanks for playing. So, that's what they're trying to do. How they're going to achieve that, we know that they're around in this expansion. The Infinite Dragonflight is going to be a big deal in this expansion. So, the bad news is that I foresee Nostormu becoming Murazond in this expansion. That's the bad news. For anyone that loves Nostormu, this is bad news, but I do think that Blizzard is going to turn Nostormu into Murazond, and that means that Murazond will be the driver of the next expansion.
I'm looking forward to it personally. I wanted to see more Murazond. I think the Infinite Dragonflight is a very cool thread to work with.
I think so too. There are people in chat saying, no, you need to play more because you'll see that won't happen. Unless, of course, they make it so that you end all of the fucking Infinite Dragons and there's no more Infinite Dragons around. I highly fucking doubt that it's just, like, no longer a threat. I would be very doubtful of that. But, again, it is possible. I haven't finished the story yet. And I haven't spoiled the story for myself because I don't want to spoil the story for myself. But, yeah, my read on the lore is that Murazond has to have a part to play. If not in this expansion, then definitely the next. At least that's what I hope will happen.
Yeah, I'd have to say that the folks in chat are maybe a little off on that. I think that the every time we have a brush with Murazond potentially coming about, it's sort of just a roll of the dice. Like, every time Nosdomu resists it, hooray, we stopped at that time. But there's always another temptation.
Yeah, the vision is clear. If Nosdormu is at the end of his life and he does not accept that he's about to die, he becomes Murazond. Now, in order for Murazond, because Murazond is not just an infinite dragon that also happens to be the biggest infinite dragon. Murazond is literally the aspect of the infinite dragons. In order for Murazond to become the aspect of the infinite dragons, Nosdormu first has to become the aspect of the bronze dragons. So, whatever happens, Nosdormu first needs to become aspect again. And then things could happen that could make things pretty interesting. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, thank you so much for the question, bro. I really appreciate that.
I would like to end this whole thing with a little joke.
Yeah, go for it.
I bet that Malfurion just stayed over in the Shadowlands because he saw how Tyrande held the siege with all those night elfin souls inside her hand and thought like, nope, I'm not going to pay all these child supports.
I mean, don't we already have confirmation that Malfurion is ending up in the Shadowlands?
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah,
there's already in a cinematic out there.
Yeah.
And that's why I said the way she holds this Theophilune with all those souls inside of her like a baby, like you would hold a baby. I thought like, nope, not gonna pay that.
As I said, I knew about this from a leak. We covered the leak on the channel, but yeah, we knew that now that Malfurion is gonna be sacrificed in order to become, in order for Ysera to return. I don't know if that's exactly. Yeah, it is. It is. So they are bringing Ysera back by sacrificing Malfurion. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest, but we'll see, right? We'll see how fuck me. It's so sad what they did to Malfurion. As we end this question, let me just say this, guys. If you've never read any of the WoW books, you'll be forgiven for not really caring about Malfurion. If you have read any of the WoW books, you will understand why Blizzard have continuously ruined Malfurion as a character. Pound for pound, there is not a single being in the world of Warcraft that can stand against Malfurion. He is beyond powerful. And yet, time and again, they sort of brush him aside, which is really fucking sad. But anyways, Kestras, thank you so much for the question, bro. Really appreciate it. Take care of yourself, brother.